Yeah, he certainly had a significant impact upon Baptist history. Not only in that he was one of many Baptists who were persecuted for their faith in Britain, as well as even here in the New World in the middle of the 17th century. But Keach also was significant in that he just left his mark on a number of things that we practice even today. For example, the practice of hymn singing. Keach introduced that practice, which was very controversial in the latter part of the 17th century, in the 1690s, and it was not welcome by all in his church. It created a significant division that he really hated. But nevertheless, he was convinced that it was the right thing to do, and so he persevered in that. And really, the fact that we sing hymns in worship today can largely be attributed to the fact that he took that stand when he did.
One of the things about Benjamin Keach is, as an earlier Baptist, the earliest of the second generation, he had a very warm evangelical Calvinism. Later Baptists beyond him became hyper-Calvinistic. And it was a very chilling effect upon Baptists in England. But Keach shows you that that's not necessary to being a Baptist, being Reformed Baptist even. That he had, from the beginning, Baptists had a warm-hearted, loving, evangelical expression of Calvinism, which later Andrew Fuller recovered. But we see first in Keach and before him as well.
Also, Keach made his mark on a number of Baptist publications and confessions of faith over the period of time that he was pastoring in London. Certainly we owe a great debt to him in helping to keep the theology and the biblical aspects of those confessions faithful and true. He, as I said, he wrote many things that were both entertaining as well as spiritually edifying in the time that he was there. So he really left a significant mark upon Baptist history, even though he only lived to be 64 years old. He did just a wonderful job in that time, and I think used what the Lord gave him in a wonderful way to make a real difference.
I did my research doctoral dissertation on Benjamin Keach's doctrine of justification as he articulated it against Richard Baxter. And so the main way that Keach has affected me is he has shown how justification propels and motivates many aspects of Christian faithfulness. In a way, even though Keach is pre-Merrowman, the Merrow controversy in Scotland, Keach is a Merrowman. He's an early forerunner of the Merrow theology, which means that we live upon the imputed righteousness of Jesus, that none of the other motives for our obedience in Christ are founded outside of justification. We must be motivated on the basis of imputed righteousness, which comes in union with Jesus, and all the other motives are connected to that. So that comes out in my preaching to myself, and my ministry to my wife and my children, and in my ministry to my church.
He really is something that just about every minister, every pastor can relate to, because he didn't receive any formal training. He did everything that he did on his own, through his own labors, through conversations he had with others who instructed him and guided him. He studied on his own and just did a wonderful, wonderful job that really I think is exemplary for us in laboring faithfully to advance himself as much as he could. And he did not shy away from really any facet of his ministry that required him to intervene, and often to take very courageous stands, whether it was early in his life, in his 20s, when he's standing up for Baptist distinctives, which got him into great trouble with the law, nearly cost him his life, as well as later in life when he's trying to speak against those who misunderstood the nature of justification, or who were trying to advocate the cause of the Quakers. Just a whole host of things that he did that I think is just exemplary, a great model for us who are trying to be faithful to God and be God's men and God's leaders in the churches.
We hope you'll join us in Owensboro, Kentucky for a class on the life and the ministry of Benjamin Keach, September 4th through the 7th.